short program with you today. And the interesting thing is I utilized some information this morning I talked about on my Blog Talk Radio show, Decree It Shall Be, for the Thor Ministry Radio Network. I was on this morning, actually on for about pretty close to 3 hours. I talked about psychometry, switchwords, and radionics. Now, switchwords, there's a book, so I'm not a master of switchwords. There's a gentleman that actually came up with that, basically with the term. This is his book. And it's called Switchwords. One of my students from last year had given me this book as a gift, and I never got around into using it, and it does amazing things using one word, the energy with the essence of one word. This is the gentleman here. You can see him. He's the guy who originated this. He wrote some books in his time, and all of his work kind of leaned him in this direction. He wrote the book of Perfect Living, and he was able to come across the power of words themselves and utilize words to bring forth energy that could release you to higher levels. And he was very good at that, and this book is still around. So if you want to get this book, I'm going to show for my YouTube audience, hopefully back this up a little bit. Yeah, go this way. That's the website you need to go to, www.switchwords.com. Get this book. It's very powerful. And many people, he is long gone transition since, I guess, about 1970 something. But many people who studied his material have put their own spin on it and have gone into such things as using frequencies, the frequencies being of numbers, Hertz cycle numbers, and other sources. There's a woman, I forget her name now. She's out, I believe, in the Midwest. I'm not sure, but if you look up Geotran, Geotrans, probably as or Tran, Geotran. Look it up as 2 words or 1 word, you'll come up with the person who came up with that process using a frequency of numbers. And these numbers go way up into astronomical ranges. But these numbers are the essence or the vibrations behind words and phrases. And they were used with kinesiology. So if you're familiar with kinesiology, which is muscle testing, you're able to test an individual or an entire group. Like that person that you test can decide to be the representative for their spouse and themselves, or their family, or their company. You know, they're doing a business, you name it, and it works. You know, it actually, what it does is the frequency or hearing the sound of numbers, the body hears the frequency behind the number, the soul, and it kick-starts the energy that you're seeking to accomplish. And in switchwords, the same thing takes place. Is each word has its own essence. That essence creates a format or a, I'll say a platform, because they use the word condition, I'll say a platform, for which energy can exponentially expand itself into your life, which is, in a sense, a proof that all of this is of a celestial connection. And that's what this guy was talking about, seeing it as a celestial connection. In fact, during his time, they said he created his own celestial passport, because it was his understanding that you can go higher, which makes sense. That's what all the New Thought movement is about, with the unity churches and the science of mind, which is now called the Center of Spiritual Living, all over the planet. It's about raising your frequency of your intentions, of your feelings, your emotions, of your words, okay? And by doing that, you kickstart your energy field and raise that as well. So I talked about that briefly. You need to go to www.blogtalkradio.com single forward slash, okay, get my finger up there just right, go the other way, single forward slash Thor, Thor, ministry, radio. Now you go to that link and it'll bring you to a page, to the show page for the Consumerian Empire, better known as the Thor Ministry Radio Network. And that particular group in which I do my show through on their platform, and I've done it there before and I'm back again, you will look for my show. And my show says, all of my show says decree and it shall be. So I'm in there now as season 1 instead of 2. I'm starting out fresh. I'm season 1, episode number 10 for me, for mine. And of course, Thor has many episodes. So go there. You can find my show in the archives that I did today. It was about 2 hours and 54 minutes. 7 or so of those minutes on either side is the meditation music. So I wanted to talk about the power of our words, the power of our intention behind the words, because words carry energy, which carry images, and switch words is something that you don't have to believe in. This is the beauty behind it. You don't have to believe in it at all. But what you can do is actually chant the word over and over and over again to set the vibration within yourself. You know, they say sing it, chant it, dance it out, do whatever that's comfortable for you. But they say the overall power word, most important power word, master switch word is word in capital letters, creates an ambiance around you. And it works not only deeply into your subconscious mind, but connects to the subconscious of the divine world, divine spirit, highest level, and pulls you forward, pulls your soul into a higher expression. So that means you have higher experience and events, bring in the positive, positive exchanges, going on and on. It really lightens your energy. It's proof that your energy is enlightened. Light comes into you because of having a frequency, a certain vibrational effect, okay? Now, the other thing that I talked about is psychometry, because many people use psychometry without realizing it. Psychometry is the ability to sense an object or a thing that belongs to someone else and read the energy off of it. And what that really says is you're reading the remnants, as I will call it, remnant particles, residue of the person's auric field on their object. Now, back in the late 1800s, 1900s, most people were psychometrizing rings, okay? So take, for example, I'll take couple of my rings out. So what they would do is, take this one. They would take a ring that belonged to somebody. They did not have to know the individual at all, but they would take the ring, place that ring, and I say, if you watch very carefully, it's held by the thumb, which is in palmistry, the will, the index finger, which is representative of Jupiter, which deals with authority, like leadership, and the Saturn finger, which is authority type finger, all right, government type finger. So a person could move their fingers in and around through a ring and begin to detect the energetic residue left over by the owner. Now, the interesting factor is the person can be long gone, can be deceased, literally, no longer existing on this physical plane. Their body has been placed in the ground. This ring is still around, wouldn't be cleansed or anything. You can begin to experience that person's life through the object of a finger ring. It could be a wedding band ring, an engagement ring. It could be a club ring, okay? It could be a military ring. It could be anything. It could be a men's tie tack, or like over here in the Southwest, they wear these, excuse me, we wear these bolo ties, okay? So we could get energy off of a bolo tie. This is not even real metal, so one could tune into it a little bit and catch my energy that's from it. Now, another thing, we get a little sip of water here. Another thing about psychometry, to extend it, it's not just the physical object that someone owns. See, I kind of see it as psyche is the soul, and metra is measurement. So you are, in essence, measuring an object of the soul, something connected to the soul of an individual. Well, I was joking a couple of weeks ago, and I said, hey, save the drinking cups of your children. Don't wash them yet. You can read the energy, and you can. Um, you can read other articles of clothing, hats, scarves. It has to be something basically that the owner has worn a lot. I once, back in New Jersey in 2000, I believe it was 1999 or 2000, or 98, not sure the year, but I worked at a place called, formerly known as the Wise Man's Bookstore and Center of Consciousness. And the owner's no longer around, and the people he sold the shop are not really working it anymore. They've moved on. But I came in one Friday, and I, had to come all the way from Long Island. I would meditate on the buses and the trains to come out, to here in New Jersey when I lived there, and basically was coming into the shop, and the owner said, "Hey, Rev, I have somebody that's coming in that wants you to see if you could gain some information about an individual." And he got the person's pants. I said, "I don't know if Rev can do that." Well, I kind of chuckled when he told me that. I said, anything is possible. But I'm going to go down the road a bit and get a bite to eat, and then I'm going to come back, and she's going to come in about 5. I'm already out there at about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So I have a whole hour, right? And I usually do consultations anyway from 5 to 7, and then at 7:30 I have a big meditation group I would lead. So this woman brought these pants in. Now, she didn't tell the owners whose pants they belonged to, the owner. But she had told me she had cleaned the pants. She put them in the cleaners. So I had a pendulum at the time, and using the power of the pendulum, asking the soul of me, the higher self of me, and other ancestors, is it appropriate for me to gain this information for this woman? Am I the one who's supposed to deliver it? The answer I got back was certainly yes, you're the one. She confirmed later that she had taken the pants to many other people. They were like way off. And I told her, and I'm not expecting to be perfect with it, but I'm going to do my best to be open to receive. Well, I kind of looked at the jeans. I said, well, definitely knows a slim person. It's male-oriented jeans. And I held them between my hands. And within about 3 minutes, I began to get a image. And I started to smile. I said, I know whose jeans these belong to. This person belonged to an English rock band called The Monkees out of England. They had, in fact, a little TV show here in the United States for a while. I sang the theme song, and I told her, these jeans, I see them on the person, 4 or 5-piece group. I see the gentleman who wears them. He has dark hair. I told her his name is Mickey Dolenz. And she said, yeah, these are his jeans. Is there anything you need to tell me? I said, well, I can tell that you kind of fell in love with him. I see you working around him as a secretary closely to him, but his heart seemed to be with someone else. And it seems like the jeans are a parting gift indirectly, because he left so abruptly to go back to England, and he's fine and everything, blah, 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 blah. So she confirmed that I had picked this up, and that was my first time reading a garment, you see. And the garment was placed in the cleaners, and it still had his energy on it. I could feel his energy still on it. It wasn't like he put it in the cleaners, wiped his energy off. So now take this a step further. Psychometry is very close to dowsing, you see. Dowsing, you use L rods, you use plumb lines, you use pendulums. There are all kinds of pendulums. People work with an Isis pendulum, they work with this pendulum. But you know what? If you're very open, all these pendulums are good. I work with a pendulum that's shaped like the dodecahedron, 12-sided, and represents the sacred geometry shape, but it has pewter or silver running through it. And I like to work this because it's amethyst. okay, and I just tied a shoestring to mine, I'm able to get some information. Now, the pendulum doesn't tell you, it's you, it's your inner vibration that's detecting and making it move, and for you to read a situation. So I want to say that. So pendulums and dowsing, and I told people I'm working on a circular or a beautiful chart. It's going to be big so that I could use it. It might be even very large, you know. It might be 3 feet or 6 feet in diameter. It could be 9 feet in diameter or 12 feet in diameter, but I'll be able to walk on it if I want to, and I can have a smaller one if I so choose. But to get back to this, that when you psychometrize something, you are able to measure or determine where that particular object comes from or who it belongs to. You can psychometrize, therefore, buildings, houses, apartment buildings, business offices, restaurants, the best place to move. All these things you can do through psychometry, which is in itself connected to sort of like what dowsing and pendulums do. So you have more than one way in which to make this work. And this is what we have to realize, is that you're making something work so that others who are working with that particular item around them are benefiting from it as well. So that's psychometry. Then there's something called radionics. Now, radionics is has been considered as an alternative medicine because it deals with energy and the ability to, as they say, diagnostically treat a situation. In other words, that may not be the proper phrase, but basically by using a radionic machine with dials on it. It could be 2 dials, 1 dial, it could be several dials, but it allows you to determine what something looks like energetically. So when you're using radionics, you are basically tuning in to the EMF, the electromagnetic field of something or someone. So I've been able, I can't show you specific chart, I'll just show you one that I kind of borrowed that someone had put together. I'm gonna give credit because I don't like to use other people's stuff without using credit, but it was someone who has a blog spot page, and it's called Consciousness Project. And basically, this is what they did. They created this paper radionics machine. So basically, this is like a schematic. And I remember back when I used to work up in Harlem, New York City, way back in the it was like the 70s, early 70s and 80s, 77, 80, right around in there, 80, 81. That's back in the time when I met Lloyd Strayhorn and a few other people of the Old Tree Life bookstore. There was a guy there that did astrology. And he didn't have this, but he actually had something that was maybe as big. And I'll show you the book size that this person utilized. I'm using this particular chart for someone who has a problem with their spine. But this individual used a book that was about as big as this. And it was a wooden box, thicker than this book. And he used copper wire. He used crystals. I don't remember if he was using just clear quartz or clear quartz and amethyst or 2 amethysts. But he had quartz stones wrapped in copper on the inside of the box. He also had 1 or 2 dials, so he could get a what he called an external frequency, and the other one being more like an internal frequency, or something more like an earth frequency and more of a divine frequency. This is the way that he called it. He also had the copper wire not only connected to the knobs, but as the copper wire was wrapped around the crystals to magnify the vibration, he had the other part of the copper connected underneath the wooden top piece. On top, there were 2 metal plates. And those metal plates were, one, to the left, he could place a picture of a person on the top part. And then on the one to the right, he would say on another sheet of paper what he wanted for that individual. And he was able to send the person through intention, long distance energy that could help them transcend or correct the situation that they were in. Radionics was developed by a gentleman named Albert Adams. And Albert Adams created this. He was born, I believe, in 1870s, perhaps. And they say he transitioned around 1924. He became a millionaire because he developed the radionics machines that he was selling to many people, and he made lots of money in his day. But this was utilized to help figure out what was going on with a person that was putting the person out of harmony with their bodies physically, health-wise, and then being able to correct the person's situation to eradicate the illness. So now I've been using radionics now. I used to study it not long ago, back in those days, but I was just too involved in the numerology and tarot and the dreams and meditation and other things, Tai Chi, to really allow myself to get into it. But through radionics, you radio and ions, so it's the frequency of positive charged particles, or I would just refer to it as electromagnetic frequency that your body is giving off, the organs, the cells in your body. It's no accident that we have cellular equipment like, cell phones, and you have cells in your body that are cellular, have cellular memory within them, that you can establish this frequency over time and space to connect with a person. So those are the three things that I talked about this morning. And I'm having on my altar here, I'm working with permission of one of my spiritual daughters, asked me to do something for her 15-year-old daughter. And her daughter has juvenile diabetes. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm just experimenting energetically because I know that I've been able to send distant healing to people as well. So what has happened in the past 16 days, this young lady's sugar count was way up there around, mother told me today, around 200, not today, but over 2 weeks ago, it was around 200. And having her on this within the first 8 or 9 days, it fluctuated. I have her picture and I have some, what they call numbers, frequency numbers that represent healing for diabetes. And I also put together some switch words that I chose to help accelerate that, and to see her with a positive, pure intention of regaining her health, and also seeing her make the necessary changes so that she can be on top of this and help herself get better as a 15-year-old young girl, teenage girl. So today I found out that the daughter's doing better. Those blood sugar counts are now down in the 90s, or where they're supposed to be. It's just now a matter of her doing the necessary things to keep it there and eventually cure herself of it. Now, this is a child who's not overweight by any means. So, diabetes can affect anybody. You can have weight issues or no weight issues. You just may have a lot of stress going on in your life. Maybe you're seeking sweetness, because that's what diabetes is you're seeking the sweetness of life. You feel that you don't have that in your life. So the body then craves it on a completely different level. Once you start to gain a balance, then the sweetness is there, and you realize you're the one who's expressing the sweetness. You're putting it out there externally and not internalizing it. So these things do work. And I just wanted to come on here and mention that. Now, with the last 10 minutes left to go, or 11 minutes, maybe one day this Zoom program will be much longer, and then I could really go into a lot of in-depth teachings, but we have various ways to get this material out. Before I give you this meditation, I want to announce that in perhaps November or middle of October, I'm going to put together a online class, and it'll be a very feasible class to pay for. And if you like to have an individual classes, whether it's over the phone, in person, online, or by mail, these classes run for about $75, which is a lot of information that I can pass along and teach you. In a group setting, we'll bring the price down a little bit for a group, and I'll probably cut it off at about 10 people. So I want to make sure I'll be able to interact with everybody, and minimum of maybe 3 or 4 to get started. But I want to make sure people are getting the information, and I will probably come on once a month doing this in the early part of the month, so that people get the information in the early part of the month. So get ready. I'm going to work on some things right now, but I want to be able to assist you. And the class will probably run about 90 minutes tops, okay? So I want to get that information out. If you'd like to get some updates on that, be sure to email me at iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com or iam.circleofgrace1@yahoo.com. Just say, Brother Francis, I'm interested in hearing more information about what you're going to be teaching. coming up as once a month online workshops or classes. If you'd like to get my book, Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace, use those 2 emails. Be sure to email me at iam.circlegrace1@yahoo.com or iam.circlegrace1@gmail.com so you can secure your copy. This is a paperback book. It's a revised information. The first half of the book is the original book that was written in 2003, 2004, and I added about 10 more new chapters and directory and contact information. So it has all my services and current websites. So you want to get this, the paperback is, and it has spiritual lessons in there. That's the important thing. Many spiritual lessons are in all of the chapters. So it's $25 for this paperback book, and add an extra $3 for postage and packaging. So that's $28. And as soon as I get paid by you, you get this in the mail within 6 to 8 business days, no matter where you are in these United States. Okay, especially here in North America. So Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace is about my mother, who predicted, she was a spiritualist, who predicted these experiences that I had as a child all the way up to now that's going on in my life. So what I want to do is give you a short meditation. If you're unable to listen to this or sit all the way through it in about 1 hour, it'll be on my YouTube channel, Circle of Grace 1. It'll be right there, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey, and you'll be able to replay it. Be sure to go back and listen to Thor Radio Network program I did today, which is a Thursday show, season 1, episode 10, Decree and It Shall Be, and listen to that full 2 hours, 2.5 hour program. All right, so I want to give you a meditation now. I want you to sit comfortably in a chair. I want you to feel totally relaxed. Just drop your shoulders down a little bit and sit your head up a bit, but don't tuck your chin down. I just want you to relax. I want you to breathe just like this. Breathe through the nose. Out through the mouth. You're going to do that about 3 to 4 times, maybe 5. That cuts out some of the stagnated energy in the nasal passage, the mouth, the throat, upper part of your lungs. Allow yourself to adjust how you're seated. Sit up, shoulders down, head up. You can close your eyes if you like, or have them partially open if you like. And at this point, do all the breathing through your nose without pausing. And I want you to place the tongue, the tip of the tongue, to the roof of your mouth. The proper location is where your tongue touches the roof of the mouth when you say la, 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 or D, door, T, tank, take, tiff. Wherever that tongue lands, that's the part you need to let the tip of the tongue, or pretty much the end of the tongue, on top, relax into that space. That connects the governing point channels up the back and over the sternum and down, so it's traveling around the center of your body. And as you breathe, you're allowing the chi to expand itself through your breath. We're going to take a switch word. We're going to take a radionic symbol, if you like. So you're going to need the symbol first in your mind. It's going to be a spiral. Set up in your mind a spiral. Now, you know when you watch hurricanes and twisters, they go counterclockwise, which is vanishing, destructive. You want to go constructive, so you want to go clockwise. Clockwise is right, and then, or left to right if you want to use it that way, or 12 o'clock, moving right all the way around to 6 and then back up to 12, clockwise. And in the center, you're going to use their master switch word that brings everything together in your life. You're going to say to yourself, as you feel the presence of the clockwise spiral, from the center, you're going to say, together, and then pause. Inhale and exhale on it. See the spiral again. Right in the center, the word coming up is together. Allow yourself to relax into it. Again, see the spiral going clockwise. And coming out of the center is the word together. Just keep focusing on the spiral moving clockwise, and out of the center is the word together. Let that just flow through you. And I want you to envision it in the palms of both hands. The spiral is moving clockwise. The words coming out of the center is just together, and the letters are all in capital letters, meaning everything is in harmony coming to you, and you are feeding into that harmony. You are gathering harmony. You're giving back harmony together. Really put your breath into it and breathe together. You're embracing it together. See the spiral and clockwise, and embrace that as well together. And as you do that, I want you to enjoy this feeling. Be sure to get that book. Go to www.switchwords.com and look that up and get that book, Switchwords. It works with your subconscious mind, the energy and essence of the words to express a positive reaction and experience, and hooks you up further into the universe. Be sure you email me if you'd like to have my book. Think about all the birthdays that are coming up in this month of October, November, and December. Great Christmas present for people, or Hanukkah present for people, or all kinds of gifts for people. You know, great book, Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace. Many people are, this is not tooting my own horn, but many people are calling me that have the book, that purchased the book. They said they're learning a lot from my life's experiences, and they see parallelizations of their own life expressed in this book. So you be sure to get your copy too. If you have one, I suggest that when you get ready, send me $28 so you can get a copy for your dad, your mom, your grandparent, your children, your grandchildren, neighbor, someone that you know that this kind of material can help them. Let's get this book out to as many people as possible that need the help. We need to know that they too can dance in the light of divine grace. All right. Again, you need my email. Just email me for any questions or comments about today's show, these books, my book, what I'm teaching, about my upcoming online workshop seminar that I'm going to be doing. I'll probably do it in October, or I'll do it in November. But we want to have it out there ready for you at a phenomenal price. Okay, for a 90-minute workshop. We might do it here on Zoom. We might do it through Skype video. We just might do it as a telephone conference call. We'll get ready for it, okay? The Circle Grace One was founded by myself on July 2nd, 1999 AD, under the aegis and the anointing of the angel of grace through divine providence. It gave birth to his very own spiritual and metaphysical institute of 5 levels called the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance on February the 7th, 2009. This is Circle Grace One Live with myself, Brother Francis Revels-Bey. I'll be here next Thursday at 5 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, and 4 p.m. Pacific for another 30-minute, 40-minute show. You could reach me on my Skype number, 505-349-4722. Thanks a lot for tuning in, watching this live or later, listening to it live or later at YouTube. Thank you. My grace is your grace. Remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. Thank you very much. See you next week.